You really have completed my life. From a physical sense, you're a beautiful, beautiful girl. And mentally, when I'm feeling sad, all I have to do is think about Jasmine. And socially, I just notice how everyone is all about Jasmine. I'm just surprised how I'll browse through through data while I'm trying to figure out how to prosper in the situation. And there are always friendly reminders of Jasmine whenever I read something or if I look at a picture or even if I'm listening to a song. It just reminds me how much I miss Jasmine. Over time, I've realized how much I love you, Jasmine. When you were first born, I thought it was a miracle because you were such a sweetheart to me, and of course, all the simulation may have made you feel some type of way, but it was just a blessing. Just remembering when I cleaned off all the booze and stuff off your body, and it just put things into a perspective for me and helped define my life and the real meaning of why I live every day, whether it's naturally or if I have to force it. It's because I'm so focused on my daughter and her ability to have a good time. There is nothing like having you walk into a room. It's definitely a sight to see. Ever since you were born on August 21st, 2017, um, you have been a visible component of my happiness. And every day I try to approach a way to improve our relationship and to make it a healthy experience for Jasmine and one that I can watch for a lifetime. I've never wanted to miss a day without you. Unfortunately, I've missed over a year and a half without seeing your face. And the reason why I haven't watched the videos that were sent to me is because I'm having a hard time dealing with the pain of not having my daughter around. Even as I mention that, I hope it doesn't come across as an excuse because it's not an excuse to me. Um, I'm trying to develop good habits to prevent problems as I see you grow, and hopefully I can promote Jasmine's health as a source of humanity, as nurses and doctors and physicians and specialists will be looking moving forward. And I can't do everything. I can't carry all the hats. All I can do is carry as many hats as I possibly can and manage that the best that I can. And hopefully it gets to a point where if I can't do it anymore, then you'll understand, Jasmine. Um, I would write rap songs about Jasmine, about you, and the context of how important you are to my life. Um, it's very important when I try to determine how I feel, and also uh, try to understand this quality of life I'm experiencing at the moment. I just remember, those times where I just sat at the table with you and just thought how sweet of a girl you were as we watched Baby Shark for the 4 millionth time. And it was just like you were so sweet that I had to make sure whenever I picked you up from daycare that I will always have that song handy and we would repeat it all the way home. I have this feeling as a father now, not only as Jason, but now as Jasmine's daddy, that um, I have to provide influence so that when these ideas come around in your vision, you'll understand, and that includes income, includes social media, any type of support, technical support from the computers you're going to be using, the phones, how you learn, how you read, or what are you going to do for work, any careers you're going to have if you're going to be a movie star, I don't know, whatever you want to do, aeronautical engineer, who's going to surround you and support you with love, who's going to physically be there, so I don't have to beat their ass, any health practices and hygiene I want you to deal with, coping skills for when I'm not around, and how you develop and how you grow, and also whatever jeans your mom buys for you. uh, I remember when we brought you home from the hospital after you arrived, and I sensed the connection we had, uh, that that I wanted to see you in good health, and you wanted to see me as a positive factor, and that related to our lifestyle, who we surrounded ourselves with, the doctors we saw, and any health policies that we adhered to. It was just um, I just wanted you to always kill them with kindness, and if they're mean to you, then that individual owes you a piece of candy. If anyone's ever mean to you, all you have to say is, "Well, great. Now you owe me a piece of candy," and just leave it at that. You can put it in your ledger, put it anywhere you want, but that's how we handle this. When I was younger, before you were born, I had this dream that kept me sane before you were born, and that dream always was being able to take care of someone else, and that was always very important to me because Jasmine, I listen to a lot of hip hop music, and one of the themes of it is to always pay homage to those that paved the way prior to your arrival. And I was so excited to be able to render a service to you, just be able to take care of you as a father. And that was one of my dreams in life. I didn't know if you were going to be around, but when I found out that you were coming, I just thought to myself, okay, well, all I want to do is be your dad. That's it. I don't know if I do good. I don't know if I do bad. I just wanted to be your father. That was all. And deep in my mind, I always thought to myself, I'll do whatever it takes just to take care of her as a father. And that meant if I had to be a janitor, if I had to be a marketing director, all I wanted to accomplish in life was to just be your father. And because of that, it caused a lot of trauma for me. Physically, um, I was in a lot of pain, and I still am mentally. Thoughts keep going in my head, thinking about all these concerns I had for Jasmine, and socially, I don't have friends because my main concern was Jasmine. I just wanted her to be okay. I wanted you to be okay, and deep inside, I hurt a lot right now. But as long as you're okay, that's all I need. If I never see you again, I'm okay with that because deep in my heart, it was the best way to make sure you were fine. Who Jasmine surrounded herself with it was top priority in my life. It was important that I took actions that influenced who was surrounding my daughter. And, some of my actions were a little bit weird, but the purpose of my actions was to provide influence so that you could see what it's like being me in reality. And part of learning about who I am in reality is that you notice who surrounds me. And that should tell you the true story of me. And if you get other versions of what this is, then you have this, and you can always use it as a benchmark if you need to pass judgment. With that sacrifice, I took on a whole bunch of issues that weren't only within our family, between me, you as my daughter, and the baby mama. It was the issue of communication, and what was being communicated ended up being broadcasted everywhere, and some of it ended up being damaging and bad, and it caused a lot of pain for a lot of other people. And I apologize for that. But at the same time, I just think about you. I think about my daughter, and I was doing what was needed to be done here, so that you could be empathetic towards it, and have a comprehension without having a full understanding about what it is. And Jasmine, you know I never hide from you. I've never been one to hide. And you've known that ever since you were born. Everything that you saw was Jason. And and my priority was to make sure you saw your daddy taking care of you, because that's how fathers take care of their daughter. And one thing I want to say is that I didn't mean to always feed you hot dogs. It was the first job I had, and that's all I knew how to cook. I worked in a cafeteria at the age of 16, and all I knew how to cook was hot dogs. And people always came to the grill because I made them the best way. But I learned from my supervisor. Her name was Lisa, and I just didn't know what else to make you because I didn't know what you liked. So I figured I'd just make you what I knew how to make the best way possible. I can only imagine, since I saw your art, and included a little bit of lettering, that you know a little bit about literature, and that also makes me assume you might know a thing or two about sports, and you might know how to run. If I remember the last time we spent time together on the playground. So, my only advice to you is that, Daddy never injured a bone because Daddy kept close to his body. So, if you're being pushed close to the edge, just remember, Jasmine, that's Jasmine's body. So if Jasmine feels something, Jasmine needs to learn to adapt to the pain so that it's not always painful. Now, Jasmine, Daddy's at a point where we may never meet again. We may never see each other ever again in life. My health is poor, and there have been some circumstances that have led up to this end game, this point where I have come to terms and acceptance with the end, with the finale. I think you know what I'm talking about. So, this is due to the decision that I made concerning my lifestyle. I made some decisions in my life in anticipation of you. So, part of that decision I made is payable on death. And I don't like to talk about this because I know you're only 4. But in the event that we don't meet again, I just want you to understand that I did this for my daughter. And anything is preventable once you come close to this tightness. And all it takes is to make a major contribution to just stay close to that tightness. And I know it hurts sometimes, but you have to keep close to it. And it's because it's the only way to remedy a situation, a scenario, a feeling, a sense when you lack access to resources that may do it better than this way. And if you ever encounter that, just remember this is always here for you, and it will always be available in the event where no one, nothing, or nowhere exists. Now, my purpose was to prepare for your arrival in a mental state of well-being, where I can realize my ability and be able to cope with the ways to educate you on the same thing without dealing with stress or keeping it to a minimum. And that was the reason I did this, so that when I had to teach you, you can learn how to use it productively and fruitfully, so you can be rewarded for this behavior. And you'll be able to contribute to those that love you, surround you with positive emotion, optimism, and a sense of thinking that opposes the reason for pain. I remember, you may not remember, but I got the picture of you perusing through the photo album, and when we spent Halloween together, I believe it was your first or second Halloween, and you were wearing a cloud with a rainbow on it, and it just made me think about how emotional I get whenever I get a chance to see your face, whether it's through a picture or if you walk in the room asking me for some juice, and I keep telling you, you live here, you can open the fridge yourself, and it just makes me think about my behavior and how I sacrificed a alternate lifestyle just so I could see my daughter every day. And some set of interferences affected the way I socialized with you and tried to make you feel better about yourself and being able to be productive with the team. Even though I'm not with you, Jasmine, I just pray every day that you achieve this feeling and you maintain it as a progression, not as a static state of mind, as a snapshot. This is a dynamic approach to life, and I want you to understand the evolution of this, and I want you to know and practice how to strategize yourself when you need to organize your room, you need to clean your room, when you need to help mommy around the house, or if she's feeling down. All I ask for you is to keep that bond with mommy, and just remember, like, she stays healthy when you stay healthy. So when you're feeling sad, just remember, mommy feels sad too. And please, make sure mommy eats 3 times a day, okay? If she's gonna make sure you eat 3 times a day, you make sure she does as well, because she forgets sometimes. And she's the type of mom that cares for a lot of children, even ones that aren't hers. Because remember, mommy is a teacher, so she spends a lot of time being empathetic towards other ideas other than the subject of algebra. So she's going to be able to understand when other children are feeling sad, especially you, Jasmine. So just make sure she doesn't take on all that pain. Remind her, that's my job. I take on the pain. Make sure mommy eats 3 times a day. And like I said, physically I'm not there, and I apologize for that. Even though I just don't understand why this is happening, I will still take accountability for it. And I'm in the process of strengthening to be able to maintain and enhance this business. Remember, you said you wanted to start one too. Well, we'll do it together. And overall, we'll just focus on doing this in a healthy manner, even if some of the ways that we are trying to operate this business is part of wishful thinking. It's a way to bring yourself to the present so that you can build that future without being stuck on the past. So don't eliminate the idea of your dream and what you want to do in your life tomorrow. Now, personally, I apologize for spanking you really hard that afternoon when you refused to take a nap, and it was my fault. I was a little too forceful, and I shouldn't have treated you that way. I get worried when I see how I address this in my life, and it concerns me when I apply it to my daughter. And I just I was at a point I am at a point where I don't sleep much. I have a lot of nightmares, and all I want to do in life is just remember the days where I would watch you sleep at night. It was so weird though. You had like a little hump on your back when you were sleeping on your stomach. It's the cutest thing ever. But I just did it. Like I tried doing that, it just doesn't work for me. I end up drooling all funny. Now you're gonna start kindergarten pretty soon in September, and um, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be there, but I'm going to assume that I'm not. So if that's the case, um, I want you to continue to do what you've been doing to reach this point where you can send me artwork all the time. It's always so beautiful to see a new piece of art that you have. It's even much more prettier to see you doing it and seeing your face. Like nothing ever is better than memorizing what you used to look like when you wanted some apple juice. I don't know why, but it always makes me feel better. It just made me feel more like a man when you would bring the box to me and I would use the straw and just poke the hole on top. And I know it's early, but think about what you want to do in your life. How do you want to help here? Like, how do you want to make yourself feel good, knowing that you made someone else feel better? You can be a doctor, you can be a nurse, you can be an executive chef, you can be a dealer, you can do social work on social media, you can be a sex therapist, you can learn how the body works and work with rehabilitation. You can also find ways to alleviate pain through joints. You can also find other ways, such as being an aeronautical engineer. There's many ways that you can dream about helping those in need, and don't be so caught up in what happened yesterday. It happens. Sometimes the past makes us feel a certain way, but I would just when that happens, because that happens to me all the time. Like I think about what happened between our family, and I just remember to this is a present, this is a gift, and the best way to open a gift is to unwrap it, and when you see it and you look at it and you say, "What does this do?" And then you see what it means to be valuable. And that's my advice to you when you get caught up in the past, like, maybe you can't find a toy in your room or something, like just stay present. Remember, this is a gift and it'll help you build that future where you find it. And I never stress this enough because of who I am, but this is my daughter, Jasmine. Put God first. Always put God first. And you're not gonna understand it right now, but you're gonna see why that is very essential to having a fruitful life. You want to be able to put God first, and you're gonna question it through your life. You're gonna wonder like, who is God? And you're gonna be like, why am I sitting here doing this? And that's when you'll be given some history about it. But I don't want you to focus on that. Just put God first. Stay present, put God first, because God will build that future. Whether you see it there are no guarantees, Jasmine. Like there are no guarantees in life. Like that is always apparent. So when you travel the world, when you go see these different countries, the different cities, and you use this defense mechanism to make sure you always have a good time, whether it's during the day or at night, just remember, like you're dealing with humanity. There are other people on this earth other than yourself. With that being said, there's no guarantee on how care is managed because everyone manages it in a different way. So, with that being said, it's best to learn about care, taking care. I would suggest listening to music. I would suggest watching old cartoons such as the Care Bears, or maybe mommy has some ideas on what it means to care. And she may not agree with me on everything, but all that matters to me is that I put God first, Jasmine second, and the family third, and that's really essential in my life. And I'm recommending the same for my daughter. Is if you're going to go through life and you find a nice man or anyone that you love, and you decide to share this with that individual, and you reach conflict or adversity, just remember one, two, three: God, Jasmine, and family. And if you need to switch it between Jasmine and God, just so that you can put yourself first for once, by all means do so. Just don't forget about God. And you want to always keep trust in the environment, whether you believe it and advocate it or you reject it and rebel against it. It still needs to be acknowledged, and in my world, it needs to be appreciated. And the only professionals that comprehend trust at the moment are doctors, nurses, or anyone that practices medicine because they understand what it means to contact, to touch, to be the primary focus of anyone that seeks care. Trust is a very, very, very special idea, and it is not really official in this world. It is considered an option, not a requirement. And the goal is to emphasize it. And if you emphasize it, then you need to surround yourself with a community that refers to it first when dealing with care. Now, you're going to experience some things that you may not be an expert in. Me myself, I'm not an expert in braiding hair. I'm also not an expert in wellness. I'm not an expert in being able to select the right type of loungewear. But that's where trust comes into play, and you need to realize that trust is the service, and there's only certain professionals that can render it. And when you realize what I'm talking about, just look around in your room, or if you're outside, look around your environment and think about trust. Now, some professionals will claim that trust is dependent on information, on how this is delivered to other people seeking care. Um, in my mind, trust is dependent on power. So if you go on the internet, browse through the web pages, or even if you go through on the iPad that I gave you, and you just draw, remember that's an electronic means of emphasizing trust. Now, one thing I learned from hip hop music is that time is too expensive, and that goes for the average person. But this feeling is not average. This is nothing, but it doesn't make it average. So the more you're here, the more you invest here, the more loyal you are to the sensation, the more time you get. And time is too expensive not to be one of the main focuses in your life. Now, Jasmine, when you start school, there's two areas that this system focuses on, that education focuses on. You can refer to mommy on this, and it's science and art. And they both are crucial in trust and care. It helps prevent disease, helps prolong lifestyles, and it promotes good health through the way you organize your science through the scientific method and go through art using a creative process. Both require effort, and it requires you to make this choice. And this choice is the basis of social media, of any administrative software, whether it's public or private, any protocol of communication, any way you comment in the community, and as well as you remain independent when you become a woman. Now, when you get older, you're gonna learn to find ways to prevent discrepancies between this and anywhere you reside in the world or in the universe. You never know. Mars might be available soon. Um, it requires a sense of self-care, and you can't have self-care without trust, and you have to have trust using love, lots of love. So if you're feeling weak, if you're feeling sad, if you're tired, if you're poor, just remember it remains important to be active with this. Pass through it. Everything will move on. This will pass too, and help with social cues that people may have, because it's very difficult to be observant and to be able to adopt a good, healthy lifestyle if you're having problems communicating about care. And always remember to be careful who you surround yourself with. This requires a certain level of focus. And if you surround yourself with people that try to distract you from it, it may prevent you from achieving and living the lifestyle that you dream of. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's very important that if you surround yourself with people that support this habit, that know how to show you love, Jasmine, then everything else will fall into place because you're utilizing trust, and because you're utilizing this intangible attribute, it makes life. I'm not going to say it makes it easier, but it makes it worthwhile. Like I mentioned, my goal in life is your safety. So I take these risks. I hustle these jobs, and I collect these presents for you so that you can understand what it means to be good, what it means to be lovesick, what it means to go all the way, even though you're facing so much adversity, so many problems. And as I grow, as you grow, it's just going to increase. There's going to be more and more responsibility that we're both going to have to collectively take on. That's going to present a different set of issues that we have to put together and continue to make trust a priority in our domain. It's going to be a challenge for you, Jasmine, as you go through life and new people are introduced to you, and they're going to have their own organizational thought and behavior towards this feeling, and it's going to either advocate or jeopardize safety, especially if you're employed, if you choose to be employed. If not, it still is an issue. There will be people that will attempt to surround you and attempt to damage this reputation. And what I have to say to you is that it's always my my goal in life is to remain loyal to Jasmine and remain loyal to her good fortune and her well-being. So all I ask is you do the same for this. Jasmine, your daddy's girl, I love you so much. I am so glad that you made it through the past year. Um, I wish you endless blessings in life. Um, whether I see you or not, the feeling will remain the same. I wake up, Jasmine. I eat, Jasmine right, and I sleep with the assumption that Jasmine loves Daddy. I forgot. Tell mommy I said hi. Also, um, I have postage stamps for you. Um, I would love to reply that way. I know it's a little different, used to computer and stuff, but this is my homework assignment for you is to devise a plan so that I can send you a letter once a week, and hopefully you'll see the envelope in the mail, and you'll look at the stamp on the top right hand corner, and then when you see what it is, I want you to show it to mommy and say, "Mommy, what is that?"